What's up, everyone? My name is Jeremy Lieber. I'm a professional day trader and the founder of Uncommon Education Trading. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can get started as a day trader in just 5 weeks with zero previous experience with Uncommon Education's Mastermind program. So, I guess to get started, I'll introduce myself.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
My name is Jeremy Lieber. I'm a professional day trader. I'm the founder of Uncommon Education Trading. I've been trading now for coming up on 8 years. So for quite a while, been through all the crazy market conditions that we've experienced over the last few years. I grew up in Farmington, Utah. I currently still live in Utah. I love the outdoors, hunting, fly fishing, love golf, travel, not just throughout the country, but all over the world for golf and fishing. I love smoking meats on my Traeger grill. I love an ice cold beverage. I've got 2 little girls at home, and my wife, Michelle. I am a huge fan of a good TV show, and overall, I just like to have fun. I am pretty easygoing. I would say I am the opposite of whatever uptight is. I really believe that in order to get fulfillment out of life, you need to be doing what you want to be doing. And unfortunately, as you know, that's just not the case with most people. When I grew up in a family that was super supportive, 2 sisters, I was a middle child. I had a lot of awesome opportunities to be different and not go traditional routes, which I'm super grateful to my parents for allowing me to do that. But growing up, always struggled in school. Very, very bad student. Call it whatever you want. Didn't have the attention span, couldn't find the relevance, but I was just a bad student. I just didn't care, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, the things that we were learning in regards of how it was going to apply into my everyday life. I've just always felt that way from junior high to high school to the 1 semester of college I did. And really the only reason I went to college for that semester was to play football. And even after that first semester, I just knew it wasn't for me. So very non-traditional in that regard. Don't have a college degree. Grew up playing tons of sports though, and have always been active with different competitive sports games, things. And so sales always was appealing to me. And because of the competitive nature of my background, I am a pretty carefree, easygoing guy. Don't get my feelings hurt too much in regards to sales if someone's giving me a rejection. My career started in sales and actually selling door-to-door pest control. And pretty wild. You wouldn't think that there's a whole lot to it. It's pretty much the least glamorous job that you could ever have, walking around a neighborhood in 100-degree weather in the middle of the summer, trying to sell bug spray to people who don't want you on their doorstep. You can imagine it's not very fun. But I did that for 5 years and was good enough to where I was able to make pretty good money and support my wife, and we just had 1 daughter at the time. What's cool about that is we got to move out each summer, and so we would live in different parts of the country. So I've lived in Louisville, Kentucky for a summer, lived in Columbus, Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, Long Island, New York, spent time knocking doors in Orlando, Florida, in Arizona. Got to travel around, which again, don't have a ton of money and you've got a young family. It was cool getting to see different parts of the country. But as you can imagine, I knew that this was not a sustainable career path for me, and knew that somehow I was going to have to find a way to have something else on the radar. And growing up, I always was attracted to day trading. Had no idea what it was. I honestly didn't even conceptually know what it was. I just knew that people were hopping on to their computer wherever they were, clicking buttons for a very short amount of time and making a ton of money and kind of just being able to do whatever they wanted. So I was like, whatever that is, I want to do that. And so that's where my essentially beginning of day trading started, was me just seeing the lifestyle that it brought. And as someone who is uneducated, right, formally, and someone who wasn't super financially well off. I was doing pretty well with sales, but wasn't a millionaire, wasn't ready for retirement. There was really no reason for me to believe that I could be successful as a day trader, just being honest. And call it my optimism, call it my ignorance, but I dove in feet first. And like most people, maybe even some of you, I got destroyed for the first 3 years as a day trader. Just lost a lot of money, would take commissions checks, put it in the market, try different strategies, wouldn't work. I watched YouTube videos, I took courses, I did just so much research on my own. And again, for 3 years, I lost a pretty good amount. Like, we're not just talking, a couple $1,000. Like, I lost a decent amount over those 3 years. But during that time, I never once thought, you know what, I'm going to stop, I'm going to give up, because I knew the end result was what I wanted out of life. So I kept going. I made some discipline changes in my life, knowing that, okay, I'm going to eliminate variables that could cause issues as a day trader. I'm going to really hone in on my craft. I'm going to give it the respect it deserves, right? We're going up against the biggest, money makers in the world, and started to see success. And over the next 3 years, I was able to get quite good at day trading. Still, while being in the sales world, was able to move up into more corporate positions, running sales teams, sales programs, not having to move out anymore for the summers where I was with my wife and kid previously. And eventually got to a point where I kind of looked back and it's like, I guess I'm a successful day trader now. There was no light bulb moment. There was no, I figured it out. I just remember one month I looked back and I was like, wow, I made this much money last month. Like, that's crazy, right? Just implementing the systems. So fast forward a little bit to me being successful as a day trader. Some of my friends hearing about me being successful as a day trader, they started hitting me up. Hey, teach me what you're doing. Hey, tell me what you're doing or how you're going about this. And so I remember I would record videos, like screen record videos, and I'd send them to my friends and I'd make them Venmo me like $25 or $15 for the video or whatever. And then more and more people wanted it. And I thought, well, maybe I'll just create like a little group to, make it so I don't have to talk to each person individually and, create this course. And so anyway, just almost out of necessity, Uncommon Education started in 2022, which is really cool. It was never my intention to do that. And I tell people, like, brutally honestly, I had no noble intentions with day trading. It was, how do I fish and golf all day and make a ton of money? Like, that's all I cared about. But now that Uncommon Education has started and we've grown into this unbelievable community, it is so fulfilling and it's so rewarding being able to help people who are in my same shoes get to the point where I am now, where they don't have to work all day, every day. A lot of people have been able to go full-time as day traders, just like I have. We have so many examples from people who are retired now, not having to touch their retirement because they're making more as day traders. We have kids just getting out of high school and they're trading at 18 years old and building, their portfolio to buy their first real estate property. We have university professors who trade with us before they go teach at universities now, and everything in between. It's been really cool to see. And I think for me, the community that we provided, my goal with it was to not just be some program that told people when to buy or when to sell, or be some group that was solely reliant on me and giving you enough information to kind of know what's going on, but never like show my full hand, right? So like you kind of are sucked in, you just have to keep participating to, find success. I wanted to create something where they could become independent traders of me, of Uncommon Education, of anything that we do. Because the reality is, what if tomorrow I decide to close up shop? Or what if I step outside and I get hit by a bus and die? Well, if you're following my trades exclusively, you don't know the strategies or the systems, there goes your source of income, right? It's kind of a morbid way of looking at it, but it's the truth. And so we are such firm believers at Uncommon Education, and like in my heart of hearts, I want to teach people how to fish, and I want to provide them the environment to give them the best possible chance to catch that fish, right? So I'm not just going to teach you how to fish at Uncommon Education. The goal is I'm going to give you the best bait. I'm going to give you the best fishing rod. We're going to go to the secret pond that no one knows about with the biggest fish, right? Like that is our goal and what I have envisioned with Uncommon Education Trading. So it's been a wild ride. And now we're at a point where we've created a few programs that have fast-tracked a lot of these people's success, giving them that sure, strong, firm foundation that they know they have learned it the right way. I think there are so many people who try to get into trading who run into obstacles and issues that they just don't even know about, right? A few examples are people will attempt to start day trading, whether it's options or futures or Forex, and they never take any type of professional training, which to me, as a perfect example, it's probably going to result in 3 years and tens and thousands of dollars of losses, and you still might not figure it out, right? If you choose to go that route. And so choosing to not educate yourself, and it's funny because I just told you I am not an educated person in the sense of formal education, but choosing to educate yourself in the craft that you are hoping to make a legitimate source of income or a legitimate skill set, you have to do it the right way, and you just can't cut corners. There's no way of doing that. If that's how your mindset is, legitimately go buy scratchers from the gas station, go to Vegas and play roulette, because that's the only way you're going to get there by cutting corners, is by pure dumb luck. That's probably the biggest thing. People are not taking the time to educate themselves properly. The other issues that traders who have either tried and failed or have wanted to but haven't dove in is they have these preconceived notions of what day trading is that aren't true. A few that we hear all the time, and I get asked pretty much on a daily basis, is, don't you have to have $25,000 to day trade? One of the biggest misconceptions of day trading in general. That is a flat out lie. No, you don't. You can trade and day trade with $100 if you chose to. The way that you set up your account, which we teach at Uncommon Education with whatever brokerage you use, the difference between a margin account and a cash account allows you to trade with any amount of money, 25,000, 1,000, 100,000, or 200. And it allows you to still implement and profit and see success with so much less than people think, which is honestly a huge reason why I was attracted to day trading. The barrier of entry is so low, right? To get your first rental property, if you're paying 10% down payment on a $600,000 house, $60K you've got to fork over, like it's a lot of money. As a day trader, if you've got $1,000, you can do some damage with $1,000 in the stock market, especially if you have the right discipline and strategies. So that's a huge misconception. Another super common one is that you're sitting in front of a computer all day. You've got to have 5 monitors, and it's just this all-encompassing, like you got to be a genius to figure it out. I am living proof that that is not true. I am the farthest thing that there is from a genius. I do recognize that my brain works a little bit differently. I'm able to see cause and effects that occur that aren't related. And that's ultimately what day trading is. It's finding systems where it's like, hey, when this happens, this occurs. And it's not directly related, but it's a consistent, data-driven point that we can rely on. But we only trade for an hour a day. So I live here in Utah, and I hop on pre-market to, prep for the morning, but I only am physically day trading from 7:30 till maybe 8:15, 8:30 max. And then I'm done for the day, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. It's awesome to be able to have my work day while most people are stuck in traffic on their way to work, right? And so that's just a huge misconception that you have to be on the screens all day long. You have to be so up to date with what's going on in the news and in the market. That's just not the case. We teach a very technically sound, fundamental-based strategy that occurs each morning within the first hour of the day on big name stocks that allows anyone and everyone to find success if they are patient and willing to implement the strategies that we teach. It doesn't just work in that first hour. At any point throughout the day, you can find success with what we do. in a relatively short amount of time. The last, I guess, big misconception about day trading is that it's so risky, that no one is successful, right? You're essentially just gambling. And sure, if you don't learn from a professional, if you download Robinhood and you buy a bunch of Tesla calls because you heard, they're building the flying car or something, you're going to get smoked. And that's why, if you Google, there are 10% of traders, they succeed, 10%, right? According to whatever you search on the internet. And that's counting all those people who are claiming to be day traders, right? With no professional training, no experience, no understanding of strategy or risk management. And so if you were to ask people who have received professional training, that number would be drastically different. And so it is only as risky as you want it to be. And that's the beauty of day trading, is it's not an all or nothing game, right? If you go to a roulette table, you put 100 on red. If it hits red, you win 100. If it doesn't hit red, you lose 100. As day traders, we are able to mitigate risk, maximize profits. So in that same scenario, if you put $100 into a trade, you might have a scenario where if it goes poorly, you're going to lose 15 to 20 bucks. But if it goes how you want, and according to what we teach, you might make 40 to 50 bucks. And so the risk piece of day trading is so misconstrued in the public eye. And I believe it's because people who are in charge of the world, they don't want people to know how to day trade, because then who's going to go work all the jobs that 99% of Americans are working? They don't want people to have freedom. They don't want people to truly just not be an employee. It's unfortunate, but that's what I believe. And so that's where uncommon education, even the word uncommon education, came from. Is our goal is to take this uncommon skill set and make it common and make it for everyone, right? Not just, the hedge funds, not just the guys on Wall Street, but for the stay-at-home moms, for those who just retired, for those working a 9-to-5 and want to maybe cut back on hours, for the real estate professionals, to the business owners, and everything in between. And what's so unique about day trading is it is no respecter of persons, right? The market doesn't care where you're from. The market doesn't care how old you are, who you are, what your background is. If you learn the skill set, you can be as successful as you want. And I am a huge proponent that true wealth has very little to do with money, but with your freedom and what you're able to do on a day-to-day basis. I believe that living 80% of your time with those that you do not want to be spending time with and 20% with your loved ones is criminal. And it's how the world is set up, unfortunately, right now. And so what we teach is, hey, let's flip the script. Let's give you 80% of your time to dedicate to things you want to, right? Learn an incredible skill set that enables you to spend time with your family, go out with friends, travel, fly, fish, and golf all day, every day. And yes, spend 20% of your time, maybe even less in the morning, taking care of business, making sure that you're providing and reaching your goals financially in that regard. So with that being said, our Mastermind program is one of the few ways we are able to help everyday people just like you and me get to the point where they can experience true wealth, which is not only being in a spot financially to do things that they want to do, but having the freedom to do things that they want to do. So what I ended up doing is creating last year a 5-week mastermind where essentially I hold your hand and I walk you through from A to Z, step by step, how to do what I do and how to be a day trader. It's unique in every sense of the word. It is so different from anything else that is provided in the day trading space right now, and I'm going to share why that is. First is we do 2 weeks of what we call our classroom type sessions. And so for 2 weeks with a limited spot group, I don't want to have hundreds of people on these calls. We make it a small, intimate, essentially working with the professor directly type of group. So that way you can get the time and attention you deserve, which is required to learn the skill set. but for 2 weeks, this small group and I, in the morning before the stock market opens, we are meeting and discussing in detail what day trading is. We start with what in the world trading is and how it works. We walk you through how to set up your account and how to set it up properly. We go through the exact basic fundamental terminology that day trading is. We go into excruciating detail of the strategies, the theory behind it, the exact criteria we are looking for, that checkbox system that we were talking about as far as when we are looking to enter, when we're looking to hold off, and then according to those strategies, how we're going to take profit if it's a winning trade, where we're going to cut for a loss if it's a losing trade, and everything in between. During this time, it's really cool with such a small group because it's open dialogue, so you can be asking me questions the whole time. So it's not just me, like we're doing right now, portraying a message to you and you just, well, I didn't really understand that, but I guess we're moving on. Again, the idea is no stone left unturned. We want to make sure that you are in full understanding of the systems. And for those first 2 weeks, we do not trade. What's nice is we have a team here at Uncommon Education Trading. It's not just me. And so we have people who you can ask for technical support. You have people if you are having issues setting up your account. We have people that if you have questions about the content that was discussed that morning, you can reach out and receive help, not just from me. And so the level of care in making sure you know is priority number one for those first 2 weeks. Because like I say, if you miss some piece or if you misinterpret something or if you're not fully aware of something, that could be the difference between you succeeding and not. And I have yet to see another company, another group, another course out there that goes to the level of detail that we do to make sure that you are understanding what we are teaching and that you understand it thoroughly. The next 2 weeks, we have our what we call open lab sessions. Now, this is where it gets really fun because after those 2 weeks, in theory, you know how to day trade, right? So the next 2 weeks, we practice and we implement it together. And so we'll hop on before the stock market opens. We'll have a pre-market lesson where a lot of the days we'll be reviewing the previous day's trades. We have an open Q&A with us, myself and you, our mastermind group. And then most mornings during that 2 week time, we are live trading together in the market. And we are doing so with extremely small amounts of money. Again, amounts where if it goes really, really well, you're going to make 30, 40 bucks. And if it goes really bad, you're going to lose 15 to 20. Basically insignificant amounts for most. So you can just execute and focus on, am I seeing the strategies and am I executing properly? Because we don't want to be risking any significant amount of capital during this time. The goal is to essentially see if you are able to execute according to the strategies we teach. What's great about this 2 week stretch of Open Lab is your natural tendencies as a trader present themselves, right? Every day trader has natural strengths and weaknesses. Some people are impatient. Well, that's not true. Everyone's impatient, so we'll scratch that one. Some people are really good at seeing the setups, but struggle executing the trade. Some people have a really hard time exiting for a loss when they know they're supposed to according to our strategies. Some people get analysis paralysis, where they see it, but they don't execute for fear of losing. What's great, again, is I've been through every folly a day trader can have. And so during this 2 week time, we create a custom game plan for you to not only identify what those strengths and weaknesses are, but how to turn those weaknesses into strengths. And we give you practical practice methods and ways to overcome those in this learning phase. The goal over those 2 weeks is, again, to get you to the point where you're seeing it consistently, you are executing it consistently, and we are essentially sharpening the axe or sharpening the sword in regards to any flaws or character traits that you may have that could hinder your performance as a day trader. And then the final week, week 5, is where we start discussing in great detail the logistics of trading. Things like, how do I start trading with more money, right? How do I start upping my position size? There is definitely a right way to start trading with more money, and there is most certainly a wrong way to start trading with more money. We go heavy into the psychology of day trading and how, as day traders, there are literally scientific, data-driven, research-based points that show us what happens in our brain when we're in a winning trade or a losing trade, why we act irrationally, why greed kicks in, why we are so impatient, right? And we go into this at great lengths. This is also where we talk about practical things like, how do I take profits? How frequently should I take profits? How much should I leave in my account? All things that you would never know unless you were learning from someone who is a professional day trader. And then after those 5 weeks, what do? Do we just go along now, right? Spread your wings and fly. Go ahead, right? Go be a day trader. No, right? It's just the beginning. At Uncommon Education, once you have completed our 5-week mastermind program, you get lifetime access to Uncommon Education, where every single morning I send out potential plays to all of our members, which are based on the strategies that we teach. So I do the legwork for you. I help identify, again, the best trade setups that we can find. Like we talked about earlier, I'm putting the best bait on your fishing rod. I'm taking you to the honey hole where no one knows, there's just huge fish. We send out daily and weekly watch lists, things like important days to avoid trading because there's certain economic events happening that might cause variables that we don't really want to be dealing with, or certain stocks when they are reporting their earnings and other news events that may move stocks more than normal. And overall, just a market overview, things to be aware of, things to look out for, things of that nature. I also live trade with our mastermind group once a week. So anyone who has done one of our masterminds, we hop on once a week at Uncommon Education and we live trade together, where we do a pre-market lesson. You can ask questions. We're talking with each other. I then trade. We are breaking down what's going on in the trades, reviewing the strategies together. And then we have so many additional resources within this community and group, such as other analysts who are providing when they're entering and exiting trades on small account friendly stocks. We have a teaching example channel where we are providing very regular trading recap videos discussing unique situations or highlighting really good setups that we were able to execute together, and a community of now thousands of people who have come through and found the struggles, the successes, and everything in between that comes from day trading, and we are all in it together. And I think that, to me, is the best part about day trading, is the community. When I started, I thought it was just going to be me, lone wolf in it, doing my own thing. But what I've come to realize, day traders are people who are sick of the old ways, right? Day traders are people who want their freedom back. Day traders are people who don't agree with a lot of the formal or standardized ways that the world works. And so to be in a community where there is so much money to be made in the stock market, and to be in a community where we're all on the same team and we all want to win together, some of my best friends that I spend the majority of my time with now, I have met through these mastermind programs and have now developed, again, lifelong friendships with. So the mastermind program is special in the sense of what we are providing content-wise, but it's also special for all of the exterior or external factors that come along with it. We also do an incredible kickoff dinner here in Utah. So if you are able to, we do a kickoff dinner on night one of the mastermind. We take everyone to a really nice steakhouse here in Salt Lake. I'm there. Some of our other team members are there. Previous mastermind members are there. Those who are a part of the upcoming mastermind are there. And we just get to network, hang out, get to know each other. It's a blast. We always do very, in my opinion, very cool, very dope, very rare limited edition merchandise for each mastermind that we do with local Utah artists. Things from hats, shirts, hoodies, sweats. We've got some crazy stuff planned for this year coming up, and it just gets better with each mastermind that we do. And we bring guest speakers to these masterminds. So usually 2, sometimes 3 other uncommon individuals come and present to our group, providing value in their respective fields. Whether that's a health and wellness expert, whether that's someone who is doing extremely well in the real estate space, business owners, entrepreneurs, and everything in between. We want to provide other forms of uncommon education or uncommon methods to find happiness and joy and success in this life. And that's a part of our masterminds as well. And if all that wasn't enough, coolest part of our mastermind program that is so unique and so different is you get to take part in any future masterminds that we do forever. And the reason for that is because let's say you're going through the mastermind, things are going good. Next one's not for 6 months or 4 months or 8 months or whatever it is. It comes around and we have a cool special guest coming to it. Or you haven't traded for a couple weeks and you want to get back into it. You want to retouch up on the skills. You can join any future mastermind and get that continual education and continually be better and better with this skill set. And so when it comes to our mastermind program, I truly do believe it is second to none. There's nothing else out there like this in regards to the level of care that we provide to help you be successful. Now, am I going to sit here and promise you and guarantee you that you're going to start making tons of money as soon as the mastermind ends and you'll never look back? No, because I can't promise you that you're going to follow the strategies, right? I can't promise you that you're not going to be greedy or impatient. I can't even promise you that you're going to show up to the classes and go through it with us, right? But what I can promise you is that we're going to provide you the best resources and the best program that's out on the market today to help you be successful as quick as possible. We have had way more than we should. We have had so many people come and take our mastermind program and start succeeding in levels that are typically 3-4 years down the road for traders in a matter of months. And honestly, to me, it kind of like frustrates me because I'm like, well, geez, right? Like, took me 3 years of blood, sweat, and tears, and here comes Joe Schmo, and he's paying his mortgage each month 5 weeks after the program, right? And again, that's not the standard. That's not what's to be expected, but it happens. And it happens a lot more than you realize and think. And so it's a very unique way for you to learn what takes most people years and years and years to do in a short amount of time. It'd be just like going to Michael Jordan, right? I'm not saying I'm Michael Jordan, but you get what I'm saying. It would be like going to Michael Jordan and be like, hey, teach me how to dunk. Teach me how to be you. And instead of him saying, well, spend the next 20 years of your life dedicating to the sport, say, yeah, come work with me for 6 months and then you'll be on the all-star team with me, right? Like, wouldn't that be cool? And that's what we provide here for anyone who comes to our mastermind program, is a way for you to succeed in a environment where we all want to win together, and with the resources and tools to get there in a way that you probably wouldn't be able to any other way as a day trader. So now I'm going to give you a few examples of the typical person who comes to me wanting to learn how to day trade. Maybe you can relate, maybe you can't, but here's typically what I see. First and foremost is people working a job that doesn't pay what they want to be paid and does not allow them to have autonomy or freedom of their schedule. And trust me, I have been there. All right. I mean, for 5 years, I gave up my summers, right? Having 4th of July out in some random state, away from friends and family, having to work nights and weekends with a new baby. Even when I became more of a corporate position, training on a company-wide level, still have to go into meetings on specific days, couldn't just pick up and go play golf or go fish for a few days and fall off the grid. I totally get it. Most people don't have control of their time. It's kind of crazy if you think about it, like it's your life. Like, don't you think that you in your life should be in control of your time? So that's the first person, is they just are sick and tired of having to go and be somewhere and do something that they don't want to do, but that they have to provide and be able to live a comfortable life. And on that same note, a lot of those same people, they are not able to live comfortable lives because the jobs that they have where they're working 40 to 50 hours a week, it's barely enough to be able to get into a super small house or to afford a semi-decent car, right? We're not talking that these people are living lavish lives and yeah, they sacrifice their freedom for money. Most people, they're sacrificing their freedom and they aren't making that much money. And that is the reality. And so people in that situation, I think just naturally are drawn to day trading because of what it can provide. The other type of person, there's a few others, but one of the others is who I was, someone without direction, right? No college degree, no real preset, I wasn't going to the NFL. I wasn't going to make it big and as a movie star or something, right? I kind of had to figure out what to do with very little credentials or work experience to my name. So a lot of people are interested in day trading because they don't have to have a master's degree, or they don't have to put in time and effort and work, building rapport and working up the ladder to get where they want to be. And I think a lot of people who are in that boat maybe don't have a ton of direction. Day trading is a way in their mind that can provide an avenue to continue living a life where they are, again, able to do what they want to do. And a lot of people are afraid of being stuck in a position where they are not in control or they have to do something. And so as opposed to going to school or doing those things, that's what I did. I just chose not to. And I found the next best option, which ended up being a very good option for me, sales and in door-to-door. But again, very common type of person who comes to me wanting to learn how to day trade. Another very common situation and scenario is someone who's super successful. I can't tell you how many people who own businesses, have sold businesses, run huge company-wide, levels of leadership, you name it. There are so many people who I've helped learn to day trade who are so much wealthier than me and have so much more money than me. It's crazy. But again, what they are seeking and what they want, they don't have, which is the freedom, right? Doesn't mean a whole lot to me if you're making $1 million a year, but you can't spend Christmas with your family, right? Because you get called in or have to be traveling for work. Or if you're making $500,000 a year, but every night and every weekend, you have to be catering to clients because of whatever field it is that you may be in. And so that is a super common person who comes and wants to learn how to day trade, is people who have money, who are super successful, but they lack what I believe every human person wants, which is freedom to do what they want to do. And then the last person is someone who is pretty content with their life, likes their job, likes where they're at, has a good setup, a good situation, but just wants a little bit more, right? And, when people come to me, we have people, sure, they want to come in and it's like, how do I make $1 million in the stock market? And we show them the strategies and the ways to do that. And then we have people who come to us, and they're like, you know what, dude, if I could make an extra $100 to $200 a day, that would change my life. If I could make an extra $300-400 a day, you have no idea what that would do for me. And what's great about that is these people are able to learn this while doing their day-to-day work and their normal day job. They're able to do this while going to school full-time. We have so many stay-at-home moms in our group who crush it and are so good. And they trade with us before they drop off their kids at school, and they trade when, their kids are down for a nap. It's a really cool skill set for those who are pretty dang happy with their life and in a good spot, but they just want more, right? They want to pay for their vacations. They want to be able to upgrade their car, right? They want to be able to build out that part of their house that they've been wanting to for years. They want to take that, that extra, trip to Disneyland with the kids over Christmas, whatever the case is. And I think that comprises a huge majority of people that I work with or who come to me wanting to learn how to day trade. Then we have people who are day trading and come to me seeking help and advice. And as we discussed, most people who day trade fail and struggle. And from my perspective and where I am now, where I have kind of made it through on the other side and succeeding in the market, it comes down to just a few simple things. And it's always the same few. There's only so many mistakes you can make as a day trader. I know, because I've made every single one of them on my journey of becoming a professional day trader. But a few of the most common mistakes of day traders who come to me wanting to learn how to day trade is, one, they lack a specific structure and strategy. When I talk about a specific structure or strategy, we only will enter trades if X boxes are checked, right? Just like you won't cross the street until you look both ways. A lot of people, they close their eyes and they take off running into the street hoping they don't get hit, right? That's how most day traders are. So trading without a strategy is no different than gambling. And that's where so many traders fail, is they just don't have a good strategy, right? What I love about the way that I teach and what we have here at Uncommon Education is our strategies are completely biased. It's not dependent on market conditions. It doesn't only work on this one stock. I tell people our strategies, we are essentially teaching you how to read sheet music, right? A musician who knows how to read music and understands how to play and read music, whether that's on a violin, a piano, they can sit down at a piano with a piece of music that they've never heard before and can play it without flaw because they know how to read that sheet music. Well, in the stock market, it's the same thing. Once you learn the strategies that we teach, once you learn these, what I call market truths, or things that are direct cause and effect, once this occurs with some level of certainty, we know that this is going to occur, then you are able to sit down and succeed in the market regardless of the conditions. And that's a very unique skill to have because it's recession proof. It's, again, bulletproof as far as trying to poke holes in it. It's something that people can't take away from you once you have, right? Once you have it, the more you practice, just like playing the piano, the better you're gonna get, the less mistakes you're gonna make, and the easier it's gonna be. The second big issue and mistake that most traders are making is they are so impatient. Patience pays, right? There's the famous, I think, Warren Buffett quote says, all the stock market is it's taking money from the impatient and it's giving it to the patient, right? And I'm a huge, firm believer in that. It's so easy to sit there and get greedy and want to make things happen. It's so easy to have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen and not wait for, kind of our safeguard, our check system, our waiting for the green light to go and so you get in early on a trade. It's just so easy to be impatient. And without fail, it is the king of kings. If you are impatient, you will lose, right? It is built and designed, the stock market, to reward those who are patient and disciplined and have an edge, and it is designed to punish those who do not. And so patience is unbelievably important when it comes to trading and people who come to me, issues that they're facing. The last common mistake that people who are day trading run into is they think it's going to be an overnight success, right? It's people coming in, they've got their last $500 to their name, they're like, okay, I'm going to flip this into $2,000 and pay rent, right? That's just not going to work. And not only is it not going to work, but you're going to lose the 500 and then you're going to be in an even worse spot, right? This is a skill just like anything else. And the hard part is there is so much confusion around this skill set, right? Like if you go to YouTube right now and you YouTube how to day trade, the amount of videos that would pop up is astronomical. Some of them may be really good. Some of them may not be. You're going to get a ton of conflicting information, right? This guy says this, but this guy says the opposite, right? Like it is so unbelievably confusing. You're never going to figure out what you actually need to know. And it's just a perpetual circle of sifting through, trying to find what works, what doesn't. And again, when I built Uncommon Education, that was the goal. It's like, let's organize all this chaos and let's put it into an unbelievably simple, easy to understand system to where people can come in and, again, in 5 weeks, learn everything that I have learned over the last 8 years. And I am not good at a lot of things, but one thing I'm very, very good at is being simple, right? We've already established I'm a simple person. in the regards of the way my brain works. If I like something, I'll do it. If I don't like something, I won't. If I like you, I'll talk to you. If I don't like you, I won't, right? Like, I'm just super simple and straightforward in that regard. And so teaching something that is pretty complex, like day trading, is one of my strengths as a mentor, because that is my nature. I just live in simple terms. And so being able to present this in a simple way is why I believe we've grown so much over the last little while, why so many of our members come in and succeed with us in short amounts of time. And it's awesome. It's one of the coolest parts of what we do at Uncommon Education. And so for me, when we look at everything that day trading can provide, opportunity-wise, financially, right? There is literally no cap to your earnings. There are people making tens of millions and even hundreds of millions of dollars in the stock market. And there are a whole lot more making really, really good money for your typical average American on a day-to-day basis as day traders. And so for me, the goal is to present and find a way to allow anyone who is interested in learning that skill set to get there as quickly and as efficiently as possible while learning it the right way. So with all that being said, our Mastermind program is not open enrollment. We require people to apply for a position in our upcoming Mastermind. Reason for that is we only want to be working with people. I only want to be spending my time, because I care so deeply about the success of our members, with people who are going to take it seriously and who want to actually learn this skill set. So it's super simple. It's a simple form, filling out some personal info, a brief why you want to be a part of the Mastermind. And if I review it and it seems like it might be a good fit, then I'll be reaching out to you and I'll contact you or someone from our team. If it's not, then I won't. Like I say, I don't want to work with people that I don't feel I'll get along with. I don't want to work with people who aren't going to give everything they have, because I'm going to give everything I have. And I'm going to go above and beyond to ensure that your success is given the best chance possible as a day trader. And so with that being said, if this is something that you want to do, go ahead and apply. We are accepting applications for the next 72 hours, and I hope to be working with you soon. My advice: if you want to learn to day trade, you gotta dive in head first. Not only do you have to dive in head first, but you've got to give yourself time, right? If you truly want this to be a lifelong skill set, don't be discouraged if it takes you 6 months, right? For a lifetime of freedom, if it even takes 6 years, is it worth it? Well, I'm living proof that it is. Again, 3 years of nowhere close to consistency, to finally being able to be in a spot now where I can truly live the life that I want to live and spend time with those that I want. The tens of thousands of dollars and the years of struggle was worth it. And the reason we've created the Mastermind is so that you don't have to go through that. I don't want it to take you 3 years. I don't want you to have to spend tens of thousands of dollars in losses in the market. I want to give you the framework. I want to work with you directly. I want to help you get to where you want to be, whether that's making a couple $100 extra a day or becoming, the next millionaire trader and doing it full time. We want to give you whatever it is that you want and provide you the best chance possible to get there. So I appreciate you spending some time with me. Hopefully this gives you a great insight into what day trading really is, what may or may not be true in the social media world. More than anything, just want you to know that from my end, I love day trading. I'm so grateful I stuck with it and got to a point now where I can, again, live the life that I want to live. And I am confident that if we end up working together, I can help you get to where you want to be. Thanks so much. I hope to see you soon. Again, apply today if you want to join our upcoming Mastermind. See you on the other side.